Hey guys, welcome back to Vallone's RC Hobby, and in this video we're going to do a WLTOYS update. I'm going brushless, and I mentioned in a few weeks back a brushless conversions that I was looking to do, but I did not want to go with the big can motors that most people are doing, the 3650 big can motors, to fit with the stock Pinion. I wanted to get something in more along the lines of what the LC Racing and what the Take-On lines have going for them. So here's my little Beetle body. I took that off, and now I already updated this to a 13-turn brushed motor, and I updated the 1060 ESC by Hobby Wing, and I even updated the correct servo. That's a direct drop-in to this car, and I got a Habao transmitter and receiver here. Now, I did go for a run with this car, and I did a speed test on it, and I got up to about 38 miles an hour with the 13-turn motor. I think what was happening was this 1060 ESC is going into limp mode. So it's kind of keeping it down a bit. I don't know why. It's a 2S LiPo I was running with, and that kind of frustrated me a little bit. So I wanted to top my man Dave Solomon from RC Mod Squad, which I hope he's doing well. Guys, he had a devastating accident. He went to go get his drone out of a tree, and sure enough, he fell 25 feet and broke his back. Dave, I hope you're doing well, and please give me a shot when you're ready to chat. I hope you're doing okay, bud. But yeah, 13-turn motor, that's what he had in his, and he got up to 45 miles an hour with his WLTOYS with the 1060 ESC. So I wanted to top that, and I only got to about 38 miles an hour, so Dave still beat me. But I think it's the ESC. It was going into like a limp mode. So yeah, what I want to do is I have here a 2440 4600 kV brushless motor. This is more along the lines of the Take-On and LC lines. This is a little bit smaller, this motor, than what they would have had, but I did a video back talking about upgrading to the correct, in my eyes, a correct way to go brushless for these cars, as opposed to going with this big motor here. And I finally got in the AliExpress 15-tooth pinion gear that will work with this motor without having to do any drilling. And I even have the WLTOYS motor mount that you see here. I did pick up LC Racing adjustable motor mounts, but I think I'm going to try this first and see where we're at. All right, guys, but before we get started, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get wrenching. All right, so first thing we're going to want to do is disconnect the motor. It was a shame, too. I thought this brushed motor would have did a little bit better. I kept the stock gearing. 1060, like I said, Hobby Wing ESC. This one's going to come out because, well, what I wound up doing was putting the 3S battery in here to try to get some more speed out of it. Now, the 1060 ESC can take a 3S battery, but I saw things smoking, and I think I wound up ruining this ESC. Just, you know, this pinion is very large, 27-tooth pinion. It was a lot of draw. Even with cap packs on, I wound up melting this up. So this is going to have to go. There we go. Take that out of there. Take the cap packs off. All right. Get the switch out. A shame. I thought this was going to do okay, but we live and learn. All right, so I'll have to take this off later. Servo can stay, steering servo, so I'm going to keep that. And like I said, I'm going to go with this Racestar motor and this pinion gear. I think the shaft on this is like 2.2 or something, 2.5 millimeter if I'm not mistaken. And again, 0.7 mod pitch with this pinion to work with the teeth in the WLTOYS on the spur gear. So that's it. Quantify RC, man. That website is awesome. That's how I got this information. But these are tough to find, these pinions. Just AliExpress was the only site that really had it. All right, let's keep going. So on these WLTOYS, you got to take out, in order to take the motor out, let it slip out, you should probably undo the battery tray here. So we're going to do that. It's just these two screws you see here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, I've been working these screws for quite a while now, and they're easy to get out. Some of them are tough, just because I don't know what they're using to keep these screws in. But let's get this, swing this battery tray out. Okay, just make sure you keep all your screws in a good location so you don't mismatch. What I like to do sometimes is just, instead of the screws running around, just throw them back in where they belong for now, so they're not running around the table. And how many times I've lost screws. I did pick up the WLTOYS screw kit, so I definitely think this is worth it, because these screws, the heads can get stripped pretty easily. So I'm just going to run it on 2S for now. All right, so motor mount is right under here. So you got these two screws, 1, 2. Take this one out. Whoops. All right, so now the motor mount should come out. But before we do that, we got to take the plastic off here, the brace. Again, I've worked these screws before, so it's helping me out that they're coming out easy. Got my GoPro on my head, guys, so I'm hoping this is in frame. Okay. Always good to have a nice clean table where you're working. Get yourself some light. Whoops. Okay. Brace comes out like this. And now that the motor is loose from underneath, you got to take the other cover off here. This little guy. Put that down, and now the motor. Got to take this little bearing holder out. Don't lose that either. And as you can see, I can just spin it out of there. Just kind of turn it. Come on. There you go. This motor's still good, probably. Now, the wise thing to do with these motors, just keep the motor mount in place on the motor, especially if you have the stock motor on, because these screws are really in there well, along with the pinion. So you just kind of leave it here. If you wanted to upgrade to another, a big brushless motor, the 3650 size, I would suggest just get a new motor mount like this and get a new pinion. They're cheap enough. They're only a couple bucks, so you're not hassling around. And then it's easy swap if you did want to swap things around. Yeah. There she is. If you guys can see that. Bunch of Loctite on it or something that they use, but it's like yellow. It's not red or blue. So that's it. I heated this up. You can see down in there. That's what I got out. About 30 seconds. I can't tell if this thing's turning or not. Oh, I got it. Excellent. Wonderful. Yeah, the other one's turning too. Excellent. Nice. Not so bad. All right, guys. Check it out. I got the screws out. All right, so we can save the motor mount. There's that small pinion, and that should slip on this shaft on this motor. Make sure you find a flat spot on the shaft. I've done that once before where I did not screw it down on the proper side of the shaft. And there you go. Before we do that, we're going to mount the motor to the motor mount. All right, so I found a set of screws that we need. I just took out one of the screws from the motor that I had mounted for this one. I just kind of lined it up and compared it to what I got to get. Apparently my box must have fumbled around or something, or fell, and all the screws got rustled around a little bit. So I found the screws. Looks like I need something like this. Woo! I just lost one. There you go. Maybe you guys can see that. It's a very small screw. I don't know, it's M2 maybe, M3. Not sure offhand. Let's get the pinion on first, and then we'll do the motor mount. Yep. All right. Okay, that seems good. Just want to double check with another Allen wrench. I can torque this down a little bit more. Yeah, okay. That should be good. And 2. All right, let's check this out first before I mount. I think this one works. Yep. I'm not good with sizes, guys, of these screws, but I just eyeballed it and I nailed it. So those are the screws I'm going to need to put in. Okay. Probably a good idea to Loctite these, but I just want to test it first and see how it lines up to the mesh on the spur. All right, so I got to come out more. Definitely on my pinion. Okay. All right, guys, so I was able to figure out a little bit of the backlash there, or where the pinion has to be centered. Just put a little Loctite down in the threads there. Let that seep down in there a little bit. I just wanted to catch the threads quickly. All right. Okay, Loctite the pinion, Loctite. I think from the get-go, the backlash is going to be pretty tight along the spur. Now that was noted in the Quantify RC website. He did say that the 15 tooth would be a little tight on the spur, but then after about half a pack, you got the right amount of backlash. So now I wanted to also reposition the motor on the mount so the wires come up and out. Try to get the logo in there to show, but I don't think so. So let's give it a shot. And I think we're in. That looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to mount the screws at the bottom and see then where we're at. Seems pretty tight still, but like he said, I think it'll free itself up a little bit. So let's see, we got to line up the holes on the bottom and get my screws. Okay. Might be a little tight, but alternatively, like what I said I can do is I got the LC Racing motor mount, and that might help us. The LC Racing motor mount is about 11 bucks. It's a good mount to have if you want to do different size pinions and different experimenting instead of having a stationary motor mount. Yeah, okay. I don't like that at all. I think it's way too tight. Oh, there actually is some backlash. Ooh, but it doesn't even move. Look at that. I don't know if I like that too much, guys, to be honest. Ooh, doesn't even turn. Doesn't even roll. Okay, guys, so with a little bit of investigating and trial and error, I had to move the pinion out far enough here on the shaft. And then what I was noticing when I put the motor on with the mount onto the chassis, it was very tight between the pinion and the spur, if you could see that. And that was because I didn't realize I was rubbing up against this black plastic here, the little coffin here that the spur gear moves in. So I just had to get in there with a razor and just kind of shave that off a little bit just to open that opening up a little bit. And now the motor mounts fits right in. And now I can mount the screws at the bottom. All right, so it looks like everything's good now. If you see it moving now, yeah, it looks perfect. And got just a wee bit of backlash. So that's cool. Looking good. Okay, looks like I got to trim even this. See in here? I got to trim this out too. So carefully with a razor, or if you had a Dremel, just to open the circle up a little bit more, the half circle. Just open that up a little. Just be careful with a razor, guys. If you've never used a razor, just be cautious. All I have to do is just make sure it mounts over it. And got it. Look at that. Smooth as goose now. That's good. Smooth as goose. What does that mean? All right. So now, get our top screws back in. Oh, don't forget that little piece. That's got to go over the bearing. See where that goes? Don't forget that, guys, right here. Now these screws with the little washer fuse to it, if you can see those, these are the ones that go right here. And the inside part of the brace where the housing is for the gearing. I don't think it really matters, but that's the way they have it, so I'm just putting it back that way. Again, you don't have to muscle these screws, guys. It's just, once they stop, they stop. And don't, you muscle it, you're going to wind up stripping it. Battery mount. Don't forget that. The short side, the shorter tab, goes towards the outside. And make sure it lays down on top of the strap. All right, so double check your screw heads. Everything seems to be tight. Okay. All right, to me that looks more the part. This is a nice size motor there. Okay. So now, just got to attach our ESC. This is the ESC that went along with this motor. Dean's connection. And there we go. And then all we got to do is just go for a rip. All right, guys, so I attached the speed controller. Of course, use some double-sided tape for that. I tidied up the wires here for the motor. I could probably tidy up these wires a little bit, but I'm a little anxious to get this going. So let's turn it on and see what we got. So okay. Feels kind of geary to me, but let's take a peek. Let's put the body on, go for a rip. Whoa! Sweet. Wow, that's fast. Wow. All right, here we go, boys and girls. My GPS is zeroed out. WLTOYS going brushless. Let's do it. Nice. Very nice. Much quicker than stock for sure. Come on, baby. Starting to feel like my Taycan now. My Taycan sore. Very cool. That's more like it. There we go, 38 miles an hour. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So that's it, guys. And this is only on 2S, so if I put it on 3S, probably would be okay due to the small pinion. So I think that's a little more realistic for these cars, guys. And now you're up into the world of the Taycan line and the LC line out the box. But it's always fun to tinker and to work on these. And it wasn't much modification that we had to do. There was no drilling, really. It was just a little bit of shaving off the gear cover here. So, but yeah, that's it. I guess I was trying to crack 40, that's for sure. But maybe we'll try that on 3S. For 3S, we probably would get up to about 45 miles an hour. I'm thinking maybe 48. I don't know, something like that. So, all right, guys, if you like this content, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And I'll be sure to be bringing you videos like this each and every week. And all right, guys, have a great day.